Good morning to one and all. I am Shubham. I would be presenting my thesis on designing for paratransit or IPT infrastructure and service near metro station area, a case study of Delhi metro station. The aim of the study is to ensure last mile connectivity through optimum design of paratransit services and infrastructure at metro station area. The objectives are: first, to study the supply of IPT around metro station area with respect to last mile connectivity. Second, to study the pattern in mode choice of IPT and its determinants with respect to last mile connectivity. Third, to study the characteristic of different types of IPT modes and mode choice of commuters near metro station area. And finally, to propose physical planning of station area with respect to last mile connectivity through IPT design. In the document of the Pune Metro Station Area Management and Disbursement Plan, there is a complete negligence towards IPT. Auto rickshaw and taxis are only the IPT modes which are under consideration. There is lack of detailing on the amount of IPT infrastructure development and service schedule and integration of IPT. There are no details about the physical plan of station area and how they are going to manage the rush of IPTs at the exit points. The study would not only provide a module for the development of IPT service and infrastructure around metro station area, but also provide a toolkit after studying different aspects of IPT modes. A background study of the topic was conducted. A survey of similar research would help delineate a path towards the aim. The baseline study was formed, which mainly consists of literature review, existing studies, and guidelines. Followed by the baseline study, a basic framework of research is set, which looks into different aspects of IPT concerning the research. After this collection of data is done through different types of surveys, this also consists of IPT Specific User Survey, especially on IPT systems, which was carried out during primary survey. Followed by this, analysis of the data was done, which is discussed in later sections. And finally, proposals, which includes formulation of toolkit and site-specific proposals. One of the issues mentioned in the research paper, named Station Area Design Approach for Enhancing Multimodal Urban Transport System, New Delhi, is also regarding absence of IPT infrastructure. Following is the table, which gives a brief of each critical component of the topic that was studied. The table also showcases the key points of each component along with the paper which was referred for the same. A few case studies were done to understand the subject better. There were very few studies which were done on this topic across the country. Most of the reviews talked about the general trend of IPT rather than a direct focus on the subject. The framework of research sets a background for undertaking of the study. Some aspects which deal with the core of the research are identified and studied in depth. These various aspects will help in shaping the idea of IPT system design and service for the metro station area. Further, the methods, techniques used to study each of these aspects are discussed. The outcomes of each element in terms of proposals are also discussed in the following table. This station is located on the yellow line between Chandni Chowk and New Delhi Metro Station, located at the north of Connaught Place. The surrounding areas are markets like Sadar Bazaar and Karol Bagh. In this image, the chaos on the road is clearly visible. We can see that the area is loaded with commercial vehicles and parked vehicles. The subway exit points open directly on the road, adding to the congestion. The road width further decreases as we move away from the intersection. We see that there are a lot of pedestrians struggling with the traffic due to lack of pedestrian infrastructure. You can clearly see in this picture that cycle rickshaw is one of the most predominant IPT types. This image shows us that e-rickshaw is also available at the exit points of metro station. This station is located on the yellow line between Model Colony and Vishwavidyalaya station. The surrounding areas are markets like Vijayanagar, Kamlanagar, and other residential colonies like Gandhi Vihar and Nirankari colony. The image shows the commercial stretch with lot of IPT modes parked on the road close to metro subway exit. We can also see that the street is filled with hawkers and street vendors. Here we can see some street vendors and a bus stop which is getting blocked due to auto rickshaw dropping off passenger. There is also private vehicles being parked along both sides of the road. In this image, we can see that Gramin Seva service is occupying the footpath due to lack of designated space. We can also see some auto rickshaws parked haphazardly at the corner of the junction. We see that there is almost no demand for cycle rickshaw at this stretch. Analysis of the data collected for the study is an essential step for proposing necessary solutions. This section consists of analysis of data through different methods. It includes analysis of two sites and two case studies. The following table provides a brief about various objectives of the study that are covered through analysis and the inferences of each survey. The mode choice analysis gives that 62% of the people preferred walking due to the cramped alleys and unavailability of IPT modes. The background of the users is such that they avoid spending money even for going distances up to 2 kilometers. Still, some users opted for cycle rickshaw as contract carriage and some for e-rickshaw with an option of shared mobility. Both the IPT modes have less fare, which was quite reasonable for this area. The narrow road widths and obstruction on the road does not support any other IPT modes apart from the one mentioned above. The bus service was working on the outer side of this region. People also wanted to move to a farther location like Karol Bagh and Kashmiri Gate and preferred walking followed by bus for the same. Some people were seen using two-wheelers and cycles to reach their destinations. The road section shows the road is only 7 meter wide and is congested due to parking and other activities on the way. Private two-wheelers, cycle rickshaw, and e-rickshaw cover the roadway. Vehicles are also parked on the footpath, forcing pedestrians to move through the center of the road. All the above problems can be addressed through reorganizing all the elements in the street. The major attractions around the site were Jama Masjid and Red Fort, which is marked in green. Also, there were some cafes and fast food joints in the outer part of the attraction area. People also traveled towards New Delhi railway station, which was located to the south of Chowdi Bazaar. The mode choice analysis gives 38% of the people preferred walking as there are many cafes and street food joints, which can be better explored by walking. There is a good variety of IPT modes observed in the area. IPT modes like e-rickshaw, Gramin Seva, auto rickshaw, cycle rickshaw, and even Ola Uber service is available here. E-rickshaw and Gramin Seva work as stage carriage system, whereas auto rickshaw, cycle rickshaw, and Ola Uber work on contract carriage system. The wider road width can cater to all type of IPTs. The bus service is working properly along the main road but has less frequency towards the road going north, Gandhivar and Nirankari colony, and south, Vijayanagar from the site. Hence, contract carriage IPTs have the extra load of the passengers willing to travel there. Very few people were using private vehicles due to easy accessibility of all vehicles and unavailability of parking space for private vehicles. The primary issue at the site was improper planning of IPT services. The IPT modes also park their vehicles on the road and even on the footpath due to lack of planning of IPT infrastructure. This congregation of vehicles has led to traffic congestion and discomfort for pedestrians. The road section shows the road is quite wide and can accommodate all the IPTs without any trouble. The footpath is as wide as road itself, hence it can contain pedestrian facilities, IPT service, and plaza with hawkers and street vendors through proper planning and management. Private two-wheelers are also parked on the footpath as there is no designated space for the same. All of the above problems can be addressed through reorganizing of all the elements in the street. The major attractions around the site are high-end restaurant, cafe, and street food. There is a shopping complex towards Vijayanagar where a lot of people go for shopping. There were few hostels in the vicinity for the students preparing for exams. Lots of coaching classes institutes are also located in the area under consideration for study. The following table gives us brief of all attributes for all the sites which we have studied so far, which includes 2 sites and 2 case study areas. The table compares the characteristic of individual sites. Travel matrix lists the travel characteristic of each IPT for the study region. These travel characteristics were segregated and tabulated based on who would benefit from those characteristics. The first part of travel matrix talks about people's perception and travel characteristic listed for each IPT type that would help the user, for example, comfort, safety, pricing, and travel time. The second part of travel matrix talks about perception of IPT operators and the travel characteristics that would benefit the IPT drivers. For example, vehicle mileage, fuel efficiency, type of transmission, profit generated. This table gives a brief about pros and cons of all IPT modes from 2 angles. The table helps in employing appropriate IPT mode for the metro station area. Site-specific physical planning proposals can be devised after calculating current demand and supply for each IPT type. The demand-supply calculations are carried out for the stage carriage system as the number of vehicles queuing can be estimated. For contract carriage, the supply is checked using waiting time, which was negligible, indicating no gap in demand and supply for the same. The deficit found in the study will be calculated in the terms of additional number of IPT required to meet the demand. This number is then multiplied with the vehicle dimension and circulation speed to get the space required to fulfill the deficit. For Chavdi Bazaar, it was not possible to provide more 105 vehicles due to cramped and congested streetscape. If the site had wider streets and enough space, then it could have been provided. But here the approach should be different. Reorganizing the cramped space to accommodate existing IPT services available should be the ideal approach. For GTB Nagar, accommodating 63 e-rickshaws and 64 Gramin Seva vehicles through redesign of the street is possible. Also, reorganizing the existing elements is done to improve the flow of IPT and less to achieve less congestion. The toolkit is devised to estimate the mix of IPT modes. For example, like which IPT mode should be appointed at which site and why. This is useful for both existing metro station sites and introducing new metro station area. The toolkit works on the principle of eliminating options through systematic process filtering. The toolkit has 6 parameters for site conditions. Any site or metro station area can be easily defined through these parameters. The IPT corresponding to the attribute of the station area should be selected and processed for the next setting. Finally, after completing all the parameter tests, the IPT which clears all those conditions are best suitable for the site under study. The exact number of IPT to be provided should be based on site-specific surveys, demand and supply calculations. The following toolkit allows to prioritize the type of IPT which needs to be proposed at metro station are based on the following parameters: travel purpose, serving radius, road widths, availability of bus service, socio-economic profile of user, and climate and external factors. All these parameters are discussed in detail in upcoming slides. The toolkit was applied for 2 stations, Chavdi Bazar Metro Station and GTB Nagar Metro Station, which are the study area. It was found that Chavdi Bazar had 2 IPT modes that had survived the extreme congested roads of the site, which was verified by the toolkit. For GTB Nagar, e-rickshaw, shared auto rickshaw, Gramin Seva, and Ola Uber were filtered through the toolkit. It is essential to note that cycle rickshaw was rejected by the toolkit despite being already available at the site. This observation matches the mode choice of cycle rickshaw, which was less than 1% for GTB Nagar. The design of contract carriage and stage carriage systems are different as the operational characteristics of the two are not the same. Contract carriage system requires more of a drop-off and pickup service rather than provision of IPT stands. Whereas stage carriage will require a depot at the origin and destination, and IPT stands at the intermediate locations also. Thank you and have a great day.